Good evening, friends. Hope all of you are doing well and trying to settle down in your fields. From tomorrow, so much relaxation is given by the government, but we must take care as the pandemic is not yet over. Wish you all the best. Today, we may discuss something about GST registration cancellation. Cancellation of GST registration. There are two aspects. One is when the assessee submits an application for cancellation of its registration, and the another one is when the department suo moto cancels the registration. In the first case, when the assessee himself submits request for cancellation of registration, it happens in case the assessee has a turnover less than the threshold limit, or assessee is closing down or uh, going to shut down the business. In that case, an application is to be submitted by the assessee within 30 days of the date from which he wants to get his registration cancelled. And once the registration is got cancelled, it can be revoked by submitting an application if it is so desired. Now, in case of suo moto cancellation of registration by the department, it happens when the GST officer has some evidence on record that GST registration is infructuous or inoperative, or there is some discrepancy. He can cancel the registration suo moto, and if the assessee has some objection to it, he can raise the objection. He can request for restoration of the same by completing the relevant formalities. And one thing I may make clear to you, that once the GST registration is cancelled suo moto, it cannot be the situation that assessee goes on collecting the tax GST and does not deposit or do not file GST return. Assessee is bound to pay the GST collected with the department, and once he gets the information that his GST registration is cancelled, he cannot collect cannot collect GST from the buyers. And it can also happen that if the assessee has multiple registrations in different states, he can surrender one GST and continue with the other. And if the assessee has multiple GST registrations for different verticals, even in the same state, he can opt for cancellation of one vertical registration and continue with the remaining. But after getting the GST registration cancelled, GST assessee cannot charge GST from the customers. It will be an offense, and consequences are very severe for that. So we must take care that if we want to close down the business, we must surrender the GST registration. And if GST registration is not got cancelled, and even if your turnover is less than the threshold limit, you are supposed to file the GST returns on monthly or quarterly basis, whatever is applicable on you. So kindly be particular about this thing to avoid any penalties or any severe consequences from the department side. Thanks.